If you had to make sales today, do you know how you would go about that? Here's what I want you to try. What we're going to do is break down this email here so that you can rewrite it 1,000 times. You can use it to make sales for your business, or you can use it to make sales for your customer's business. It's super short. It's super simple. We set these up on automation to where they just repeat. I'll of course link the document down below if you want to like steal this. Please go ahead by all means. It's actually broken up into 3 really simple sections. So hey, F name, that's like the short code that we use. Obviously, if you have automation, this would write in like whatever their actual name is, like Mike or whatever. I'm working with some blank to help them blank in just blank. I've got a loom that explains how it works. Would you like me to send it over? The reason that this is so powerful, first of all, you can use this as a way to be able to post on social media. These do really well on social. They also do really, really well as emails. You could send this to people who are brand new leads. You could send it to people who are long-time customers of yours. What I want you to do is go through this with me. We're gonna rewrite it so it works for your business, and then you're gonna send it, and then you're gonna comment below saying, I sent this and I booked some calls, and then we made some sales. So the first part here is figuring out who is your ideal client, the type of person that you actually want to work with. Now, the reason this is important is kind of twofold. First of all, we're going to qualify because we want to make sure that you're working with people who, you know, can afford you, who want to work with you, who you can help. But also there's this kind of concept called a dog whistle. Few years back when I was at my gym, we had like a trainer come and do like a bit of a, I don't know, guest lecture. And there was about 30 of us in the room. And he did something really smart. He said, okay, who here is struggling to get a muscle up? If you don't know what a muscle up is, it's like a gymnastics movement. I find them almost impossible. Actual gymnasts obviously find them very, very easy. I find them almost impossible. I put my hand up. I was like, yes, that's me. I find this incredibly, incredibly difficult. That's what we call a dog whistle. He basically called out, hey, are you this type of person? When we sell, it's really important that someone is able to contextualize, which I know is a bit of a, it's a very millennial word. They're able to basically imagine themselves in this scenario. If you're to say to someone, I can show you how to lever your body over a bar using a specific gymnastics technique, you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Whereas if you flip it around and start to talk to them as the customer and you say, I want you to basically raise your hand. If you are this person, you are way more likely to get a response. The human brain looks for reasons to engage with things. We think we don't, but we actually do. So the first thing we want to do is figure out, well, who is the type of client that you want to work with? How are you going to both qualify them, but also how are you going to call them out? So this is where you're going to think of your audience type or a type of person. So you could say, I'm working with some e-commerce store owners. I'm working with YouTubers. One I've seen recently is we're working with employees who feel that they have been unfairly dismissed from work. And I was like, that's really good, because that's not like, there's no like niche or audience for that, but it's a problem. It's a way that someone would identify themselves. They go, yeah, I'm an employee who's recently been unfairly dismissed from work. Great. All we want to do is call out who it is that you want to work with, or more specifically, who you can help. Now comes the important part. This is critical. We're basically going to try and solve a specific problem for them. Now, your business should be solving a very specific problem for your audience. Chances are you're a marketer. The problem with most marketers is they think that their customer's biggest problem is they don't have a website, or they don't have good marketing, or they don't have good copy or good branding. No, they don't. Here's how I want you to think about it. Bear with me because it might sound a bit creepy. I want you to imagine your client in bed, in this very crudely drawn bed, right? There's the pillow. We use duvets most of the time in the UK, and here they are, they're sleeping. In their brain, they're getting stressed about something. What are they getting stressed about when they're sleeping at night? It is not, oh my God, I need to hire a marketing consultant. That's not what they're thinking. They're not thinking, I wish I had a more on-brand, minimalistic approach to branding. That's not what they're thinking. What they're thinking is, how the hell am I going to beat my competition? They're thinking, where am I going to find my next employee who I can essentially leave to manage the business 4 or 5 days a week? They're thinking, how are we going to add $10,000 or £10,000 to our monthly revenue? They're thinking, where am I going to find my next set of leads from? Again, it's that word, context. The problem with being a marketer is we often think way too much inside our own heads, and we say, well, obviously they're thinking about their sort of SLO traffic funnel, right? No, they're not. They don't even know these words exist. You might take that to them and you might think, well, this is like preschool, baby time, beginner level marketing stuff. They won't know anything about that. What they're going to be thinking is, how on earth am I going to sell more bread rolls? This is supposed to be like a bull, by the way, with the ear kind of carved into it. Can I make it like... No, now it looks like a baked potato, but okay. It's supposed to be a bread. They're thinking literally, how can I sell more loaves of bread? Where are we going to find more customers? They are experiencing problems that are deeply inherent to them. So I want you to think about, what is it that they are worried about at night? That's usually when you know someone's stressed about something. If you ask people what their problems are, they will feed it back to you in a very, very specific contextual way that is relevant to them. Use that language. The best sales offers in the world don't even mention the product or the solution. So if we were to give this as an example, here's what I like to do. Got two circles, a good old Venn diagram. You've got people and you've got problem. In the middle, this is your business. All right, this bit here, where they overlap. Now, some people, let's say that you are new dads, their biggest problem, new dad's biggest problem is lack of sleep. But if you don't sell a sleep-based product, you don't have anything inside that business. So there's that kind of third segment of the thing that you can actually help with. Now, on the other side, it might be that new dads suffer from a lack of exercise, or they're not happy with their body. Cut yourself some slack, dads, right? If you're not happy with your body, I got news for you, no one is. But that might be something that you can help with, which fits inside this middle circle. So it's this beautiful kind of overlap between what is the problem that the person has, and is this something you can help with? And then specifically, is this the type of person that you want to work with? I personally, I don't have kids, so I've got no context on what it's like to be a new dad or a new parent. I can't really help with your lack of exercise either. But if we were to look at, let's say you are a YouTuber, big problem, time on editing, which is why I have an editor. Hi, Clarence, right? That's not something that I can help with. Another problem that they have is basically making money off platform, making money without relying on ads and sponsorships. That is something that I can also help with. So I want to know, if I'm to take this, these two all overlap and become completely illegible, but we find this overlap. So I want you to make sure that when you're writing your sales email, when you get leads and sales coming in, that you'll be using a language that they understand. Here's the final little piece. In just an amazingly short time. This is really important because people need to know that there is a time frame to the expectation led to what you can help them. If I say to someone, hey, if you're a new dad, I can help you lose 10 pounds in 2 years, they're going to go, what, how is that going to help? Or if you've got kids and someone said to you, hey, I can help you get a good night's sleep in 21 years when your kid moves out, you'd be like, why would that be of any interest to me whatsoever? It needs to be a super short time frame. The kids sleeping one is a really interesting one. It's based on a real case study, I think called like Bush Babies or something. It was a trial they ran out in Australia where they basically said to new parents, hey, we can help your kid and you get a full 8 hours sleep within 1 day. What they actually did is they flew them out to the bush, in the middle of nowhere, no screens, no lights, no nothing. And what they found is when it went dark, the baby's sort of natural circadian rhythm helped them fall asleep, and then the parents obviously were able to get a good night's sleep. Anyway, imagine saying I can help you get a good night's sleep tonight, like right now. That's something that you want to pay for. So the pain has to be bad enough to where they want the time to be incredibly short. So if we were to say, I can help you make an extra, $10,000 within 4 weeks, or within 1 month. I personally like 29 days because people know that's less than a month. A lot of you are watching this immediately now thinking, yeah, but how can I guarantee that? that comes down to the qualifier and having a conversation with someone. I'm not asking you to make promises that you can't keep. What I'm asking is, what is the best possible result you could get for someone if someone came to you with all of the ingredients? They came to you with absolutely everything. Think of it like this. When I first started learning to cook million years ago, I remember being given an assignment from our, like, we call it home ec in the UK, a bunch of ingredients, and I had to make, I think it was something like an apple pie for the next day. And I went to my mum, I had apples, we had flour, we had butter. I don't think we would have had, well, we wouldn't have had eggs, we had sugar. And I remember saying to my mum and my gran, like, I'm supposed to make an apple pie with all of this. And they were like, okay, would you like to make it within the next 2 hours? While I had the ingredients, the idea of being able to actually fix it and do it within 2 hours, to them was incredibly easy because I came to them with the right ingredients. You need to think about your customers. Do they have the right ingredients to get this in a really short time frame? If they don't, you can still send this out to them, have a conversation with them and say, look, having dug into your numbers and like figured out what you're working on, I don't think we can do it in 29 days, but I think 60 days might be possible. They're going to go, thank you so much for being refreshingly open with me. Yes, I'd still like to go ahead with it. All I want you to think about is what would be a time frame to that customer to where they would think, oh my God, this sounds like something I need to do. So we've got 3 real simple pieces of the puzzle. Got the person, got the problem, and the time frame. Once you got those together, you've got a killer offer. And then we just say, I've got a Loom. I use Loom or Vimeo or a screen recording or whatever it is that explains how it works. Would you like me to send it over? This does 2 things. First of all, it gets a reply to where you can say, great, is it best to send your email, or why don't I give you a call and have a conversation with it? Secondly, the video itself should and could essentially be a VSL. This is the fastest and easiest way I know of to quickly and consistently write really simple sales emails that get noticed. Now you're probably wondering, okay, so when do I send this? How do I build an email list? Like, where do I build this out and who do I send this to? Which is why I've got this video here explaining my entire $1 million funnel process that will not only show you this email in context, but will also show you like when to send it, how to send it, and how to do things like the VSL on the back end and how to do the sales and closing when they do reply to you. So go ahead and watch that video there.